Hello, this is my Huntington Harbor kayak. It's supposed to end up being 12 feet long, but I had to use 3/4 by 1.5 chine blocks. Well, it seems easier to bend these when they're a little longer, so I'm going to tweak this and move my stem out here. It's probably like an extra 8 inches on each end. Whoa. The other end's the same way, and the reason I'm doing this, and the reason they're easy to bend at the longer lengths, is I took and I had to make a scarf joint. I had to glue them at 8 foot because they didn't have long material either. So I want this glued joint to be able to get screwed right into this piece here, so that gives it kind of some strength. So this thing's going to end up being like, instead of 12, it's going to end up being about 13.6. So hopefully it'll work out. I don't see a problem. And I don't know if you can see it, my stem blocks I went ahead and took off. Instead of doing it later, I put it in my table saw and I took off a little bit off of each side, whatever the angle was when I bent my chine blocks across, just to make it a little easier for when the final fitting comes in. The other thing I did was I took and run these 12 footers through my table saw, and I took that edge off so that it's even with the bottom of the boat, because I didn't know if that angle that was left on there, by it sitting on the angle, was going to interfere with my bottom. So I went ahead and put it in the table saw and cut that edge off so the whole bottom is going to be flush. I had a heck of a time getting these chines cut to the right angle, and this one come out okay. Well, let's go around the other end. This one come out absolutely perfect. So since this one's perfect and I know how to do it now, I'm going to cut the other one off and redo it, because I just love this. The first one was square on the end, but I realized I had to cut that on an angle when I cut my first cut to get the pitch on this front nose to match up your stem. So now that I know that, I'm going to recut the back one. Okay, I just wanted to show you how the stem meets up with the chine log, because there's no videos or anything on the internet, and that's what your chine log ends up being, to where it meets up underneath here. That's what catches it. And then if you can see the tip of your keelson will sit on the top of that. You've got, this is 3/4 down, so that's why you got this 3/4 step with the V, and then the front V matches the V on the chine log. And then you clean it up to match whenever you get it all nailed or epoxied in. Then you can slide your keelson up. But I'm trying to do all the stuff to the stem, because it's really difficult to get any kind of tools or anything on this once you mount it. So I'm going to do this one, and then do the other end to match the front tip to match the top rail. I made my strong back 46 inches high. This way you're still not bending over. All the videos I see, they make the strong back so you don't have to bend over, but everything's still knee high or waist high. You're still bending over for everything. So I made mine 46 as the top of the 2x4, so then like the tip of this thing here is almost chest level, and everything you're working right in front of you. So what I want to say now is, I took my keelson, I cut the other end and clamped it in place. Now I'm going to take this piece here, bring it down, and take a pencil on the bottom side and mark it, and then you got the exact fit of your keelson. Okay, so I flipped it over, I got my mark for this end, I cut that out, and then I'll have that ready to fit in. Then I'm going to start working on my other stem, which if, let me find it here. I've already pre-marked it because I stick it up in here, see where your tip's going to end up being, like that. Go up on the inside, and then you can see where I've marked it. So I'm going to need to notch it there, and then you're going to step down that 3/4. So 3/4 of my 1.5 is for my keelson, and 3/4 is for the stem to stick up in there. So all your measurements are going to be different if you use 1/2 by 2 like the plans show. But the hardware store I got this from did not have it, and I found everything to be cheaper if you bought shorter stuff. That's why if you see I butt blocked my keelson, and then I got an air nailer, glued it, clamped it, and I'm sure it's going to be fine, just like anything else you have to splice. The only thing bad about making your strong back tall, it's hard to get good pictures, so I'm standing up on my bench to show you the finished product. I started with that end, put a clamp on it, got it in place, marked this one underneath, cut it out, and got a beautiful fit. Okay, got my final fit on the other stem, same as the other one. Cut it out, notched it to fit the front, cleaned up the front of the chines to match, and then the kelson is right there on the money too. So I'm really happy with this, and move on to the next step. Okay, I got the keelson, the front pieces, everything's mounted all the way down. And is what I did is, since I was having trouble bending them 1x2s, I made my strong back longer, so you can see I put the extension right there on both ends just to make it longer. So now, instead of 12 foot, this is probably going to be about 13.6 to 14. I haven't measured it tip to tip yet. We'll know soon. So all I did was screw and epoxy all this stuff down, sanded the other end. I'll go to the other end and show you. And then these boards stick out a little bit, so I took a plane, and you have to kind of, they're sitting square with the strong back, but then this radius, you got to take this little edge off all 4 of them. So I got them all matched up. So we start putting on the panels. So then same way with this side. Got this all smoothed out, screwed on, epoxied, and both ends are done. And the strong back extension. Okay, I got the frame all done. The stems, the chines, everything's in place, the keelson, everything's glued together. I put a screw in every little thing, just to, hold it a little bit. I did glue it too, mostly epoxy, some Gorilla Glue, depending on where it was at. Some of the gappy stuff I like to put Gorilla Glue because it swells up nice and fills gaps. And I can tell you it must be really strong because you can't even get it off your fingers with mineral spirits or lacquer thinner. So now we can start on the skin. Okay, I got my son here today. We started putting on plywood. It's better to have 2 hands because this stuff's kind of tough to get down, and you start screwing it and nailing it. Got lots of clamps. We did our 8-foot piece. We're getting ready to put the second piece on here we got cut. I just rough cut it about 1/2 inch, 3/4 extra, and then I'm going to use my Japanese hand saw to get a nice cut on that edge. Never have enough clamps. I just learned that because that's all I own. The other ones are too big, so we nailed it and screwed it, and then I'm going to steal some of them clamps to do the second piece. Okay, just like I said with the shear clamp and the chine log, I found some kind of straps so you can kind of keep them a little closer to the tip as you're trying to get your angle cut, and then you can slide them back and forth to make it a little tighter or looser. Chine log was easier. This one's a little different because the front angle piece is right there in the way. But this way you can work with it, otherwise it's got a pretty good torque on to be trying to cut and measure and stuff. Okay, I got my first shear clamp done. Getting them close like this helps you visualize the angle it's got to be, because if you notice the front angle, you got to go out this way and then you got to go this way, so it's kind of like a compound miter, and this just helps you visualize it. The other thing is, see how this thing's not square? As you take and you'll have to rotate it around while you're trying to get your measurement, because this thing's kind of, the way they're in the brackets back there kind of tweaks them the wrong way, but you want to get them square so that the top ends up being flat. Okay, I'm making this quick because I'm about out of memory chip. There's the one that's done, and there's the one I got cut. So you can see kind of how funky angle it is. Not only is it side to side, but it's front to back. So just be patient, take a little bit at a time, and just cut it 2 or 3 times, and once you get it down, you get it perfect.